Our next speaker is none other than a very young, dynamic, dashing, digitally innovative, and a renowned homeopath, Dr. Kritik Shah. Dr. Kritik Shah is a chief homeopathic consultant and medical director of Gujarat State's first digitalized private Sri Sai Hospital. He is a consultant for cancer, AIDS, and de-addiction, an encyclopedia of Organon. He has achieved several awards, and to mention a few, the Bharat Gaurav Award at British Parliament, London, UK, the most promising homeopathic professional award by the Ministry of Ayush, and many more. And Dr. Kritik is on the editorial board of NGH. He gave his first presentation in 2008 at the esteemed platform of SSMS, Mumbai, and till now spoken on different platforms. Today, I think is his 98th webinar. He was even awarded as a historian homeopath, a creator, latest, largest, and most modern technological development in the history of homeopathy in the state of Gujarat. I present to you Dr. Kritik Shah. He'll be speaking on case taking, tips on case taking. So, Dr. Kritik Shah, and you have 40 minutes here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Well, you mentioned a very, I would say, a very emotional point into this. When I was a child in homeopathy in 2008, I don't know what Dr. Vishpala madam seen in me, and she gave me the platform at Ravindra Tagore Auditorium in 2008. She had given me a space to speak for 20 minutes. And I was not knowing that am I actually eligible for that or not. But this is actually the motherhood, what I have received from her and from NJH. So as it is always my honor and privilege to be on the same platform from where I have taken a birth on this homeopathic earth and doing better and better professionally. So 2008 in Bombay is one of the most memorable event of my life. Thank you, Vishpala madam, as well as thank you, NJH. Well, to take up this point, before beginning, as always, let's take Hahnemannian oath. On my honor, I swear that I shall practice the teachings of homeopathy, perform my duty, render justice to my patients, and help the sick whosoever comes to me for treatment. May the teachings of Master Hahnemann inspire me, and may I have the strength for fulfillment of my mission. Jai Hahnemann, Jai Homeopathy. Basically, this topic, clinical tips on pediatric case thing. It's nothing like talking what you call, I'm not going to give you any magic stick with which you can get success overnight or something like that. But to be honest with you, Organon, Hahnemann has written Organon from patients. From his experience in clinical practice, he wrote 6 editions of Organon. He wrote Theory of Chronic Disease. So everything, our patients are our best teachers. And that's why no two vital forces are alike. Every experience of a homeopath is also alike. So these clinical tips, what I'm going to share is out of my experience, which I've confirmed and I've confirmed many times, which I can share it with you with great confidence. That will help you to a great deal in managing pediatric cases. This is not Organon. This type of information is not mentioned in Organon. This is my clinical experience, which I'm sharing it with you, right? So the first general remark, I think if you want to get a very good success in practice, your focus should be on pediatrics primarily, because ultimately a child is sick, but the whole family is suffering. Because child is the center of attention for all the family members. Child carry concerns and value of the whole family. I hardly remember a case in my practice where a child has come alone like an adult, or a child is accompanied by what you call single person. Usually when the child is more ill, the child is supported by the family. Parents comes, grandparents comes, uncles come, and many times we have a family consultation. It's not like a homeopathic consultation, it's like a family consultation. So usually child is the center of attention for all the family members. And if you want to get a great success, I tell you, memorable success, focus your practice on pediatrics if the case comes to you. And if you treat a child properly, Say for example, acute. Acute needs courage and confidence. You don't have time, you don't have opportunity. You have to deliver the best. In pediatric, if you are able to treat acute properly, the whole family will be your patients very soon. I tell you, this is a clinical confirmation I'm sharing with you. And they will remember you for the lifetime. If you get success, always positively. If you get failure, they will always remember you negatively as well. So in which way they remember you is up to you. So general remarks on pediatric case taking, I would say clinical tips for pediatric case taking is something that you have a great opportunity in front of you. You can get the great benefit out of this opportunity if you get success, and you have a chance to do great for the whole family, right? So this is the general remark, right? Friends, can I have your opinion? Am I reachable to you? Am I clear to you? Quickly, because I don't want, Dr. Vrushali has given wonderful lecture, and I want you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Kavita Chandiramani. Glad to have you here. So, the second point is, let me hide the screen first, just a second. Yeah. Second point is, I would say the first point in a way, during consultation. If you want to get the rapport with the child, you have to have your own inner child coming out in front of the child as a patient. To be the child, you need to be the child if you want to treat the child. Rapport with a child is very easy. I tell you, very easy. We have a lot of toys in the hospital. Children are coming just to play toys. Yeah, in a patient, if a child is coming in the chamber, we always have a habit. If the child is not allergic, we give chocolates. Now in this lockdown, everything is online, but still we used to give 3 to 4 different types of chocolates as an option. And many times child used to take more than one. But this is how, chocolate wale doctor, बहुत अच्छे डॉक्टर है, हमें उनसे दवाई लेनी है. This type of information comes usually from the child once you have a rapport. So this is most important. Toys and games has to be there in your clinic. I have a hospital. We have 6 to 7 different types of game. When a child is coming to you, give a handshake, give a high five, just be a friend of a child. And that is where you get a great rapport. And if you get a great rapport, you get shocking information in the consultation. When you talk to the child privately, you get shocking information in the consultation. I will tell you one of my most memorable and frightful experience once I am to the 6th point in this lecture. So, many times there is also a situation that, doctors are considered to be symbol of respect. People sit in front of you with great respect, like, like this, or they don't move. They try to tell their child also, advise the child, sit properly in front of your doctor. Don't do this. If a child is doing like this, parents tell, don't do this. I always tell my patient that whatever child wants to do, let him do. If he wants to come on the table and jump, I will allow him to jump, provided he doesn't break anything, right? So in a way, you have to be absolutely free towards the child in order to observe the behavior, in order to get the proper history, to get a great of benefit. So let your inner child come out in front of your child patient. Many times if we are, we are like Kalika, so serious. We don't smile. We talk very less. We are very much duty bounded. Forget it. That's not possible. So, you let your inner child has to be out. You get beautiful consultation. And that is the way to get a rapport. This is very needed, right? And into that, something very, very important is this. Children is is a growing human being. Children are the growing human being. Child is changing. He's growing. So when this is a positive side to create a rapport, but at the same time, you should be cautious as well. What Henneman tells in 83 aphorism, sound senses. We need to be clear, right? So if the information is coming from an adult, Say for example, we are taking a case of an adult and we are taking it very clearly. We can take the information absolutely confirm. But in a child, we are seeing the child from the eyes of parents. We are seeing the child from the eyes of family members. So we need to be cautious. Never take information of a child from parents directly. If you have to have your own critical opinion. You have to have your own caution whenever you are taking a case. Otherwise, what will happen? You get lost, because what you see as a truth is you. What you see in the situation is you, right? So in pediatrics, never take information of a child coming from parents directly. Always have a critical mind. Is it logical? Is it true? Is it half true? Don't know. Many times I have made a fumble. Many times during consultation, what father said differs from mother, and what I see in a child is totally different. So these type of situation may come, because here it is indirect consultation, not a direct consultation. If you have an like 16-year-old child, 15-year-old child, 14-year-old child, it's okay. But when you are taking a case of a less than 10-year, 8-year, 9-year, information is very critical. So this is very important. And also one of my most humble appeal, humble advice, what I have experienced in my clinical practice is, don't wait much in pediatric cases, because families' concerns are so much. Families' pressure is so much. When you wait more, they will change the doctor. Before you change the remedy, they will change the doctor. And you need to be cautious. You need to be logical. You need to be sound in convincing the family members if the situation is not favorable in front of you. Because homeopathy, it's a science of all or none law. Many times in an acute, I have observed very clearly that people prefer to change doctor rather than they allow you to give another remedy. So you need to be little cautious. It's a totally different situation in an adult, because medical science doesn't run on emotion, it runs on facts, right? In adult they are clear, but in pediatric cases a lot of emotional involvement is always there, unconditionally, I would say. So in a situation like this, if you wait, you give different potencies, you wait longer than normal. I am just saying you wait, but you wait logically. You don't wait for 2 months where your decision can be taken in 3 weeks. It's like that. So this is a word of caution. And this is very, very important, because if you wait longer than normal, people will drop you. People will drop you, absolutely. And this is my observation. I have lost many pediatric cases because I said what I believed. I have lost many pediatric cases. The same if you tell to the adults, they believe you. They believe you. And this is a fact I am sharing with you, right? So this is second. Third, it is very important, symptomatology. I am trying to go in a chronological way, which will help you to understand the consultation process in pediatrics in a more comprehensive way. And I hope, friends, can I have your opinion? I hope I am reachable to you properly or not. Can I have your feedback quickly, friends? If the audience is sleeping, somebody needs to wake up the speaker. I hope the audience is not sleeping. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Vidya. Thank you, Dr. Rutuja. Thank you, Dr. Suryakanta. Thank you, Dr. Deepak Kumar. Fantastic. I'm continuing to that. So into this, now the symptomatology. Now symptomatology is again, many times is a googly. It's like you don't know what the actual pathology is. Parents comes and tell you, my child has recurrent tonsillitis. Oh, since how long your tonsillitis? Your child has tonsillitis for 1 year. Every month or every change of weather, he has tonsillitis. He has this problem. He has that problem. Okay, very good, very good, very good. And you take a rubric, general history, personal tonsillitis recurrent. And the moment you see the file of pediatrician, recurrent pharyngitis. Now anatomically, both are tonsils. So your rubric should be recurrent pharyngitis. So in situation like remedy is different. If you see tuberculinum in tonsillitis, Barrett-Jacob, there are different remedies. In pharyngitis, silica, phosphorus, totally different remedies. So these are objective information and medical observation, which can be of high importance, but you need to rely on objective information. So examining medical files is very important. I always put stress if a child is coming from the allopathic hands. I always put stress to check the files, and I give special time to check the allopathic doctor's files about his diagnosis, because we also need to know what is to be cured in the disease. Aphorism 3, first line. So if physician clearly perceived of what is to be cured in the disease, then your way is open to treat. So examining medical files is a must. If parents have forgotten to bring files to me at the time of consultation, I put a note and I tell to the parents of the patient specifically that please bring your all medical files in the next follow-up. Or if you are coming down here, come and just submit the files here. When your child is coming here for the follow, we can have all the information ready, because we always take appointments. No consultation in the hospital is without appointment. So if we have an appointment, we can do the work. Rely more objective symptoms rather than subjective symptoms, because parents many times twist the truth. They twist the truth, and that confuse you. And rely more on objective symptom, and many times chief complaint will give you the direction. I have many cases. Before COVID, I treat one of the very difficult case of pneumonia, in which the information was so clear. I gave belladonna 1M to belladonna 10M. It was not going through. It was just not going through. And what happened is that the child, during the acute, during the heat stage, he was thirstless. And that was a very strong information to me, turned out to APIS. So in a way, observation from you give you a many better clue rather than relying only on the history of the parents. Rubrics. This is a big problem with homeopathy. People prefer to take different, what do you call, how should I say? We treat vital force, right? Vital force of dinosaur, vital force of elephant, vital force of human being, vital force of a cockroach, or vital force of rat. Nature has given one vital force, what Hahnemann said, vital principle in 6th edition, to every creature on the planet, living creature on the planet. So we cannot take rubrics exclusive for children, rubrics exclusive of females, rubrics exclusive of old people. No, they are guiding you, but they cannot decide. Matra Medica is the final court of appeal, what has been guided by repertory. So many times, this is a big problem what I have seen in my practice. People prefer to take a rubric. I'm sorry. People prefer to take a rubric, asthma in children, and they take it to a newborn, to so strong. It is there. But you should see other remedies as well, because ultimately totality should be the given weightage and to be relied upon for the prescription. So ultimately what we do is we treat vital force. We don't treat male, we don't treat female. We treat vital force of a male and vital force of a female. So we are vitalist. We are studying life. There is no point of taking two small rubric and consider it and give an extreme weightage rather than going and see the holism and go to particular. So logic, what Hahnemann has said, inductive logic and deductive logic. Both logic should be used in a case respective to the situation. We are not blind. That's what Hahnemann has said, sound senses. Because sound senses will give you a very clear clue. Very clear clue. So here in pediatrics, objective information should be given great importance. Medical file should be given great importance. Because diagnosis, homeopathy and allopathy goes hand to hand till diagnosis. And then therapeutic aspect differs. Because homeopathy is born from an allopathic mind. Hahnemann. Homeopathy is born from the allopathic mind. So homeopathy and allopathy goes together till diagnosis. I give equal weightage to examination. I give equal weightage to radiology. I give equal weightage to other consultants' opinion before basing my prescription. Because diagnosis is also, you also need, right? We are not other type of pathy practitioners where, it's okay. Allopathy and homeopathy goes hand to hand in diagnosis. And many times in children, out of concern, out of worry, if we ignore the diagnosis, probably you are making a mistake. And this is my clinical observation I'm sharing with you, right? Next, into that, something very important. What I always believe, if at all you want to get the history, primarily you should get the history from mother, because the relation of a child with the mother is always 9 months more than the relation with any other person on this earth. So history from mother is very important. Nobody knows the child more than mother. Information coming from mother, if they are strong and reliable, you go at it, no problem. There is, in Gujarati, there is a word called Bapa. Ba means pa is only 25% of ba. So 25% in a child, 75% is what you call mother. And mother is mother. Without M, everybody is other. Every religion on this planet gives great value to mother. And because mother gives life, there is a saying, mother gives life, doctor saves life. Doctor saves life. Mother gives life, doctor saves life. That's why mother is considered in place of God. Doctor is considered after God. There is a logic. There is a logic behind, right? So in this type of situation, you are very much dependent on information coming from mother specifically. And believe me, to my experience, pediatric has a great success ratio because child is uncomplicated creature psychologically. You get good information. You get good PQRS. Good PQRS are visible and aimable. If you hit it, you get good benefit. Because child is not, बोलते हैं ना कि बच्चे में भगवान का रूप होता है. कभी ऐसा सुना है एडल्ट में भगवान का रूप होता है? No. So child is, is a messenger of God. The moment then the worldly he becomes, more impurities comes, and then it's a different story about evolution. So child is uncomplicated creature psychologically. And in a way, this will really help you to a great degree, right? So this is about symptomatology. Fourth, mentals. Many times in pediatrics, people tell that I'm not getting enough mentals. I say it's 9 out of 10 times not possible because child is very uncomplicated creature psychologically. You get pure information. Fatafat, you get truth very clearly, right? So always, and in children, especially in children, in adult as well, I always tell to give an example. Because mentals are a very debatable subject. Not all the people have a great command over the mind, right? Mentals are debatable. Somebody will say she's jealous. Somebody will say she's suspicious. Somebody will say she's envy. Debatable. So I always confirm the mentals by taking an example. Many times, ego in a child. मेरा बच्चा अगर गलत है तो भी झुकेगा नहीं. My child, even if he's wrong, I prove he's wrong, he will not surrender. Like, right? He will not bow down. If he wants this, we have to submit. We have to give obstinacy, jealousy, so clear information. I'm not supposed to go to mentals because that is a different part. Mind in Kent, or in instances, I would say, have been very, what you call palpable information homeopathically if you see in pediatrics. And this is very, very needed. Meticulous child in homework, carcinosin, silica people, calcarea people, sympathetic, phosphorus type of child, jealousy. There is nothing like remedies for children different, remedies like adult, remedies for adult is different. But they have a difference in approach. And that's what homeopathy is all about. It's all about individuality. You cannot approach to a child the way you approach to adult. It's not possible, right? So this is mentals. Into this, language versus body language. And this is very important. Very important. 40% is language. 60% is body language. What we speak is language. How we speak is body language. There is a book written by our NJ colleague only, and one of the most respected international teacher, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni sir, has written a beautiful book on body language. Fantastic book. It has given a lot of descriptions about it, because ultimately that shows your depth of psychology. That shows the depth of your abnormal psychology. So language versus body language. When a child is coming to you, when a child is coming to you, he shy away from you, right? Even in any case, to meet a doctor for a child is always a very painful event. Let's take it like that. So in the first consultation, the child will be definitely shy getting open to you, but you can't consider that as a symptom. But during the whole process of 1 hour or 2 hour of consultation, he is so shy, talking to you in a very timid manner. Observation will help. Timidity, silica, phosphorus, barataka, sorry, energy pattern. One of my child patient who has Madorinum, my chair is like this. You can rotate it. During the consultation, my chair got locked from the bottom, because he made a round like this for more than 300 times. Can you believe? He was so hyperactive. But that took me to Madorinum. And so clear was an observation. He was jumping here and there, rotating the chair. He used to get rotated while sitting on the chair, this and that. So clear observation. Gave me Madorinum instantly. Right? Hobbies, nail biting. Barataka, one of the brilliant child in the school, seventh grade child, got first in the class since he has started study. Right? Has a strong nail biting. I gave him Barataka with very good effect. Traveling desire, tuberculinum, calcarea force, dancing, music, carcinosin, curiosity, sulfur, veratrum. There are many different remedies. Clinging alone, toys type, colors, safe game, risk, how much he cares for the body, religious, puja. I remember a child of only 7 years old from Baroda. He used to speak entire what you call Sundarkand, what you call Hanuman ji ka ek puja hai. That takes almost 2 hours. Such a small child used to speak Sundarkand continuously without break, without any mistake. Do you think you need to ask how much religious your child is? No, not like that. So clear. Fear. I'm sorry. Fears. Every remedy has an individual fear. The child is fearless, we have different remedies as well. Sleep pattern, sleep on abdomen, different set of remedies, sleep on left side, right side. But in child, because that's what I do in my practice, would love to share it with you. Maybe you can follow, you don't follow, it's up to you. Child psychology is changing. So what I have observed, his position of sleep regularly changes. So what I ask is how much your observation is when a child takes, ज्यादा कौन सी पोजीशन में वो सोया हुआ रहता है. Then mother says his abdomen. With adult, it's different. Psychology is developed. So our mind-body coordination is needed to go to the trance phase and then to go to sleep. But child is something different in history itself, right? Before I go to next, friends, can I have your opinion into this? Am I reachable to you? Can I have your feedback quickly? I hope
Yes,
you're
yes.
not. I hope you are not sleeping. Just
Yeah, we're enjoying it.
joking apart. Thank you, Dr. Uflis. Thank you very much. I like interaction. I'm not a kind of a typical what you call opium kind of a teacher, and I don't want you to go into an opium state as well. Okay, so next, this is very sensitive, this is very important, and this is, I would say, very serious. I have treated a lot of political people, I have treated ministers, I have treated a lot of MLAs, lot of big shots. Wife with a child comes with, having a car, Mercedes Benz, Audi, BMW parked outside your hospital. And the moment you start asking pregnancy history, She said that my pregnancy history was terrible. I was begging for food. I was begging for support. I was begging for care. I was begging for my need because nobody was there to look after me. Because pregnancy history many times is extremely drastic. Once you have a rapport for the child, the moment mother is sitting in front of you alone, and if you have a rapport with her, you get information which is absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I treated one of the case of aconite child. The child was having, I still remember in my old clinic, acute psychiatric breakdown. It was like panic attack, something like that. I treated aconite. I gave aconite to that child. You know what his mother said? That when I was pregnant, my husband had an affair, very strong affair, and he used to brought her at my home, where I used to sleep in the drawing room at the sofa, and they used to sleep inside my bedroom. But I was in continuous fear that if my husband will leave me, if my husband will ditch me, what will happen to my child? And as a result, for at least 6 months, I was under continuous fear. That happened into child, because during pregnancy, mother and child are one. You know this famous story of Abhimanyu during Mahabharata, that in the womb Abhimanyu was listening to the Krishna how to break that, that what you call war and all. So in a way, this is very important, very important. I always give special attention to this part. And if something comes sensitive, I always take it for serious consideration. And many times, planned or unplanned pregnancy, this has played a major role in female, because we all know, we all are adults. I can talk to you frankly. What I observed in my practice is the duty of a husband to produce a child is for half an hour, but to deliver a child is a duty of a mother for almost 9 months. I mean, if you can vary a 3 kilo stone in your hand 24 hours, your arm will pain. The mother carries the baby in the womb for 9 months. It's hell of a it's hell of a different and hell of a difficult situation what a mother and what a female undergoes. So it is something which is a great mental stress, great emotional stress, great physical stress, or I would say holistic stress, because pregnancy is a journey of a, great journey of a womanhood, right? So in this, it can become blessing sometime it becomes a curse as well. So during pregnancy, state of the mother is the state of the child. I always give special importance to pregnancy history whenever it is coming as an important to me. And I tell you very frankly, most of the children I observed about autism, ADHD, global developmental delay, mental retardation, cerebral palsy, most of the children are having bad pregnancy history as an information. So if a child is coming to me having a diagnosis of autism, right, I give special weightage, special weightage to the pregnancy state. And I tell you, this is something, we all are living in Kali Yuga, right? We live in Kali Yuga. Nobody is happy. Everybody is sad. But it's like किसी का दुख दिखता है, किसी का दुख दिखता नहीं है. But we all are sad because we live in Kali Yuga. You ask yourself. No need to ask anyone. So when you are making a consultation with the person who is already sad, you have to help him with whatever words you can use, which will relieve his suffering, his or her suffering, or whatever help you can offer. So during pregnancy state is a state of turmoil. I tell you, in pediatric cases, if they are coming up to you with gross pathologies, pediatric asthmas, pediatric, severe eczemas. I remember a case of UK whom I was treating. When the child took birth on this earth, second day, onwards, he started having itching, and within 2 years, his 80% of the body was occupied with eczema, was covered by eczema. And what the allopathy doctor does? Steroids, whatever anti-allergics, which is of course a very respective way of treating from their side. But then a homeopath came. I took the consultation. I found this is a case of pure pulsatilla. Pulsatilla 6 potency. When I saw the child was 4 years old. In 6 months time, child was better up to like a magic. And with similimum, you always see magic. There is no logic. It's always magic. So that kind of thing can happen. So pregnancy history, I always give special importance if they are abnormal. If you ask mother in front of her husband, how is your pregnancy history? She will always tell normal. Always tell normal. If you ask pregnancy history of a mother in front of her in-laws, how was your pregnancy history for your child? She will tell you normal. So in a way, you have to politely request them to go outside and ask mother personally, because mother is the greatest person on this planet worrying for the child. Worrying for the child. Because mother is I would say, I'm 39. Still my mother worries for me. If I go home late, she doesn't go, to sleep. She calls me, she waits for me. As soon as I'm home, she goes to sleep like a log. So this is a bond, this is the bond of the blessing, I would say. So mother pregnancy is of great importance, great importance. If you find something abnormal, this story becomes different when you go to adult. Like father, if you ask father about your son's problem, his son's problem, he will tell 10%, 15%. I would say in my 20 years of practice, hardly 3-4 fathers I have seen who is giving accurate information like mother. It's the truth. It's the truth, right? So pregnancy is of a great importance, very great importance, right? Madam, how much time I have? I think I need to conclude. Can I have your, ma'am?
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay, fine. Yeah. I will try to finish it a little faster. Okay, a personal consultation. Just a second, let me hide this. Okay. Personal consultation and goodbye. Private history from the child. Your child should be your friend. That should be your time of saying a goodbye. He should be so open to you. He should be so comfortable to you. He should be so friendly to you. He must feel that he has met a similar aged child at the time of going out of your consultation chamber. Because this is the time with which you make an interval of the repo, which will continue in the next follow-up coming to you. I tell you a case here, one of the most painful story of my life. Our daughter was only 6 years old. She confirmed that, husband and wife, she observed the act of sex. Because when parents thought that she has gone to sleep, they used to enjoy their private life, right? But the child was actually not sleeping. And the way she observed the behavior of her mother, the noise from the mother and father and all these things had so affected her badly that when she entered into menarche, she has pubertical problems. And they were so major problems, depression, right? Or menses used to be very haywire, very abnormal. And then when I spoke to the daughter privately, beta, please tell me what is the problem. Can you please help me out? Then she said that this is the fear, because if I'll be into menses, my husband will do the same to me what my father used to do with my mother. So this is how how irrelevant the information, but how child is perceived is important. So this is very important. Private history from the child. And last, take the child in your lap, maybe carry him in your lap when you are, giving a goodbye. I always take the child in my lap. I go out along with him, give a good high five, and then I say goodbye. So in this way, you continue the bond with the child personally. And that is where, your child will come to you. Even if he's not better, he like you. And he will push his own family that please take me to that doctor because he's a good doctor. No, you get a chance to change the remedy. Who knows? It will work in second round. It's like that, right? And into this, to conclude my talk, Homeopathy is most popular in pediatrics because of the sweet test. It's different story with Ayurvedic. It's different story with allopathic. Homeopathy is very famous amongst pediatrics. So if you are not able to produce the result also because of the test, the child will continue. The child will continue. And that is what, to conclude here, I want to tell you that my practice as an NRI, my practice, I would say I have taken, say for example, 100 children cases, right? Then probably whole family has started taking my treatment because they were so worried. They were so worried. And eventually the child, they saw the improvement in the child. As a result, what you call the whole family became my patient. And as a result, by Asian African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I was being given the honor with this award along with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Minister of Modi, Honorable Prime Minister Modi government, part 1. So this is an honor. So final remark, failure of a person cannot be considered as failure of science. It is a world of homeopathy beyond horizon. Success will give you earning. Failure will give you learning, and earning plus learning is living. I would say happy living, right? So I conclude my talk. We have these two branches in the hospital, Samuel Hahnemann Academy of Homeopathy and the hospital. And these are my communications details. I'll be very happy to receive your questions either personally or here as well. We'll be very happy to answer that. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Prutiksha, for very practical clinical tips and guidelines for case taking. Indeed, it was a very enlightening talk. Now we will have our question and answer sessions. And over to Dr. Sushma.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Do we have Dr. Roshali here? Dr. Krutik, I'll take one question.
Please.
Till now, you don't have many.
Yeah.
Dr. Rupali asked that whether nail biting is out of timidity.
Don't know. It's all individuality, because ultimately hyperactivity also reflects nail biting. Let me close this. Hyperactivity also reflects nail biting. What you call timidity also reflects nail biting. This is all very individual. So I would say the symptom which is coming to in totality, if you are able to perceive the child as timidity, may give you a remedy accordingly.
Thank you, Dr. Pratik. Dr. Roshali, you have a question from Dr. Mayuri. She wants to know, why did you not select belladonna?
Yeah. So you see, had I taken the case in lot of details and had it been only the child, maybe I would have come to belladonna. But in this case, it was the mother's need for immediate help and her urgency, which has led me to stramonium. Her desire to go in light and her grappling with that darkness, groping in dark. So that is the kind of intensity which I did not feel belladonna will cover. So therefore, it was more based on the mother's state. Therefore, I had given stramonium. There was one more question that why everyday doses? Because I was not sure. I was away. There was so much, how do I say, there was so much urgency put in from the patient's side that I said, let it go, 31 dose every day. Because see, I'm not giving her medicine from my end. I'm not giving her placebo. I cannot ask her to buy placebo from the store and take it. So considering all those aspects, I thought 31 dose will not harm. Every day bedtime, I had given that dose to the child, and it resolved very quickly.
Someone has added that till what age of the child should you consider mother's state?
That's a very good question. I would like to ask another question. Till what age does a mother think that she is inseparable from the child? A lot of times, especially, I will give an example. Dr. Jayesh Shah, he gives an example of one of his workshops wherein he treated a case of alcohol addiction simply because that person who is a 45-year-old person, his mother attended the Awakened Parenting Workshop with Dr. Jayesh Shah. There was a shift in her. So this 75-year-old lady felt the need to correct her son. And that's how the shift happened. Dr. Jayesh had not spoken to the person. He has not interacted with the patient, but there was a shift in mother's state. So I feel family dynamics and, your close relatives, that circle is always going to be with you. So you are definitely going to take that as one part of the personality. Maybe you will not include it in your repertorial totality or final prescribing totality, but that is always going to be an undercurrent. So in any cases, you are going to keep that as one of the states.
Thank you, Dr. Roshali. That was interesting. Dr. Krutik, if you can answer this one, Dr. Anudeep has asked that how much time does it take to cure obstinate constipation in child?
Individuality.
I agree.
Because no two cases are alike. If you are getting a good PQRS, good remedy picture, then it's very fast. Otherwise, you have to battle. One of the case I tell you, because see, it's like, to be honest with you, I'll be equally happy to share my failures also, because ultimately failures are the stepping stones for success. One child of constipation, he's 14 right now. I'm still battling. That child came to see me when he was 5 years old. I'm still battling. Probably I have given him calculatively, 25 remedies, but still I'm battling. So it's not like a very specific or a time framed answer, I would say. But aphorism 208, I would say applicable here. 208 and 209 specifically. You have to check the remedy what you have given. Is it the same remedy? Next follow-up check. Is it the same remedy or changing? Same remedy or changing? Same remedy or changing? Because homeopathy, there is a big problem. I would say in the world, I would say, to be honest with you, people give a very good importance to the first prescription, while 75% of practice depends on second prescription, third prescription, fourth prescription. Because first remedy will open the case. Nowadays have gone where single remedy makes a miracle cure. So this type of information is equally important. Many cases of constipation, I have made a great result, quite clear, quite convincing. But in some of the cases, I have to battle hard as well.
Interesting question. Maybe both of you all can take it up. That in your practice, how many times, or how what is the percentage of cases where the remedy chosen for the person as a child has helped in adulthood also? Like going ahead, also it remained the same, or?
Well, to my opinion, it's again, 81st aphorism is working here, because most of the cases, I would say 60 to 65% of ratio, where remedy which is given, if you see the history, probably you get the same type of or similar kind of picture in an adult, because every shock changes the individual. Shock changes, and change of symptom is change of remedy. So if a child does not have a shock, he's growing out of his natural evolution, or a natural life what Almighty has designed for him or her. Probably remedy will not change. But if there is a change in, shock brings kind of change of state, then you may have difference. Otherwise, 81st aphorism tells 60 to 65% is ratio, where it is more or less the same.
Can I add something to this? Lot many times what we have seen is it is not the remedy, but it is the physician's understanding which has evolved. Oftentimes when we see that there was a plant remedy given and now the patient requires an animal remedy, probably, it is your understanding. You as a person has evolved and you are able to see that. Even the situations which are, bringing out the state. Maybe he was in a compensated state and that is why it was not available initial stages. And effectively, when the state got compromised and his all defenses broke, that time the state was evolved. So it was there, the undercurrent was there, but you as a homeopath did not see. That could be a bigger possibility. Right. And about the constipation thing, I would like to, share it with that doctor that do not let the names of the disease threaten you. Do not let the, do not get caught in which disease will be cured in how much time. Just take the totality and have an homeopathic approach to the cases. Do not go by diagnosis, but diagnose the person better, form a better totality, and you will do wonders in no time.
Thank you, Doctor. Our very own Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt has written that he had a case of 60 years old man and he treated with the help of Mother's Date and history. So,
fantastic. Sir, we would love to hear that case sometime.
I think that's all. That was all the questions we had. Thank you so much. It was a very engaging session. Dr. Rajni, you can keep forward.
Thank you so much. Before we end today's webinar, I heartily thank our speakers. I would say stalwart speakers, Dr. Prutiksha and Dr. Vrushali, for your very informative and educative talks. Our very own Madam, Dr. Vishpala.
Mute ho gaya.
Ma'am, you've gone on mute.
You're
Ma'am, please unmute.
I unmuted.
No. Rajni ma'am, you are on mute.
Sorry. I'll speak it again. Before we end today's webinar, I heartily thank our speakers, Dr. Prutiksha, Dr. Vrushali, Saraswat, for your very, very informative and enlightening talks. Our very own Dr. Vishpala, our friend Dr. Sushma, and our NJ team members also. And all of you friends in the audience for having a patient listening. Thank you one and all. Really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we say goodbye for today's
Ma'am, wait. We want to announce something. Vishpala ma'am, you want to take it? Or should I do that? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are celebrating the Hanuman's Day in the next month. But we do know that you all have a lot of engagements and there are so many webinars and so many different aspects which are coming up. Therefore, we have decided to go it easy. We are not coming with a webinar, but we want to talk. So this time it is going to be a roundtable panel discussion with all our eminent board members, and we will see if we can invite any guests. And we are going to talk something which is very unique. Mind you, homeopathic concepts, homeopathic remedies, posology, potency, all this is very easily, freely available. Today, the pandemic has served its purpose and it has brought so much knowledge within homeopath which was hidden inside. Now it is very easily available. So what we want to talk this time is the essential aspects of homeopathic practice. Things like where should you register? Things like where can you practice? Have you ever thought about it? I have only MCH registration. I don't know whether I can practice in Goa. So, things like that, how you can source your remedies, which pharmacy to follow, where to go. So we are going to compile all that through our eminent panel discussion. And we are going to bring out the most useful concepts. And the focus, my friends, is definitely going to be you. So I invite you all to join us on 24th. Just give me a second.
24th
of April, when the Hanuman fever is over. After that, we will meet you. Okay?
Happy Holi to everybody. Forgot to say that.
Yes, happy Holi.
All a very happy Holi
to everyone.
So symbolic Holi. Behind me, you can see a colorful painting.
Yes.
So that is why I'm sitting here today.
Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you and good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.